get up and dash 100 meters and I would eat up the competition. It's just non-existent. I kick my feet up. Thought I was passing till I got blasted.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentary. Today we're going to be talking about Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor from July 23rd, 2022. I didn't watch the pre-show. Don't really care about anything on it. So we're going to skip to the main card. The show in and of itself, solid. But I do have some complaints. I have a lot of complaints, actually. Let's get some general complaints out of the way before I really get into it. 4 of the 7 matches, which equates to about almost 60% of the matches on this show, had chop exchanges, which means I chop, you chop, I chop, you chop, I chop, you chop. 4 of the 7 matches on the main card had chop exchanges on it. That's way too much. I think 2 or 3 of these matches had table spots. Again, too much. Several of these matches had no storyline build going into them. And basically, you just watching a match because you just enjoy watching a match, which is a big, big problem for me. As somebody who cares more about the storytelling of wrestling and you building up things. But overall, I think the show was solid. Not great, not fantastic, just plain solid. Match 1. Claudio Castagnoli defeats Jonathan Gresham in an anticlimactic match to win the Ring of Honor World Championship. And everybody's pretending that they're so excited for Claudio. This match went on first for a reason, because everybody and their crippled old mama knew that Claudio was going to win, and then they did so, and I think he beat him in 12 minutes or something like that. Let's not even go into Gresham, because it's going to be a lengthy segment about Gresham. It's going to be lengthy. I don't know how lengthy, but it's going to be lengthy. So Claudio wins with the Ricola Bomb, which is basically like a cross-armed power bomb. At one point, of course, Claudio did the swing on Jonathan Gresham, which just looked like he was picking on kids at the playground. It was absolutely ridiculous. Everything about this was absolute shenanigans. There was no threat, no drama at all. Everybody knew that Claudio was going to win. So, as people talked about, oh yes, he deserved it. Yeah, yada yada yada. I legit, and I'll be pretty honest with you. I was a fan of the Ring of Honor, the modern Ring of Honor, right before Tony Khan bought it. Jonathan Gresham was doing excellent work. Yes, I was still making fun of him being shaped like a tree stump. Yes, it was still funny that he was super short, but he was doing really good stuff. He was working really good matches. He was cutting really good promos. The Foundation as a gimmick with him and Lethal and Red Titus, they were doing good stuff. You know, they had set up this really good feud with Los Ingobernables and Shane Taylor Promotions and all these factions, and the Righteous is there, and all these factions are going at each other, and they all had Violence Unlimited was part of that too, and everybody had their own vision for Ring of Honor that they were fighting to put on top, and that was good. That was engaging. It was four men teams. So there was like 4 guys in each group. And you have 4 groups. That's 16 guys. Look at all the different kinds of match types that you could have putting together. And it just had made for really fun TV to watch. Tony Khan came in and blew all of that up. Now almost none of those groups are together currently. Los Ingobernables, which includes Roosh and Dragon Lee. He had Roosh and Dragon Lee wrestling a match on this show for no reason. Just no reason. Well, I think they would have a good match, so they're going to wrestle on this show. And they had a good match. But clearly he had no conception of the guys that he had. Otherwise, he would have done something differently with them instead of having them wrestle each other. You know, clearly he could have kept the Foundation together. Now, I know that they kind of did something weird with Jay Lethal where they kicked him out right before the sale. But you could have, if you're going to bomb the entire company and restart it, why not just keep those two as a team or as friends or whatever the case may be? That could have been fun. Especially considering Tony Khan's gimmick is that he's just going to put all the belts on 20-year-old Ring of Honor guys. You know, if a guy was in Ring of Honor 20 years ago, he gets to be a champion today. Well, if that's the case, then that sounds like a perfect storyline for the Foundation, which the entire thing was they were doing what Ring of Honor had always been, which is pure wrestling, yada, 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 for the love of the business and all that kind of stuff. If you had guys like Samoa Joe and Claudio and a couple other guys come in and say, oh, you guys are representing what what we laid down. We're the real Foundation. Boom, that could have been great. But that would have meant Tony Khan would have had to actually follow the product, watch the product, and actually give a damn about it. But he didn't. So he pulled a Vince McMahon. He came in and just said, whoop, just going to drop a bomb on it and blew it all up. The second problem I have with this is that Jonathan Gresham was the guy who was carrying the flag for Ring of Honor. Literally, when everybody was saying that the company was dead and that the company doesn't have anything left, there was nothing more to Ring of Honor, it was Jonathan Gresham out defending the pure championship on other promotions, representing, he's having the Ring of Honor title at Impact. He's got it at all kind of indie shows. He's carrying the brand. His first title defense under Tony Khan's Ring of Honor, he loses it. First title defense, he loses it in 12 minutes. And with no prospects of doing anything after this. I know they did something where he was teamed up with Tully Blanchard. And then I didn't see it, I heard that Tully Blanchard's actually no longer involved with this. So you're sitting here like, wow. I mean, you went through all the trouble of putting the belt on this guy on your first show. The first defense he had under the Ring of Honor brand, he loses it to some guy who, to fix some should have been from 15 years ago or some nonsense. Oh, well, Claudio should have been champion back in 2008 or whatever. So he gets to be champion today, which is the exact same garbage you saw when ECW was relaunched. And all of a sudden, we're going to put the belt on Rob Van Dam now. It's like, come on. Yeah, it's a feel-good story, but now what? Like you did it. You did it. You didn't put any storyline. There was no reason for Claudio to even be wrestling Jonathan Gresham. To be quite honest, why is Claudio even wrestling Jonathan Gresham? How did you become the number one contender for a wrestling promotion that, for the life of me, doesn't really fucking exist? How did he become number one contender? It just became, well, we're gonna fix this problem that everybody seems to have, that he didn't become a world champion. And it's also pacifying the people who felt like he was screwed over by WWE. He didn't get to be WWE champion, so he gets to be Ring of Honor champion. A championship that is now, the fifth most important title in AEW? Technically, it's not even the most important title in Ring of Honor, because the tag team titles main event at this show. The TV championship, the pure title, were all competed for after this match. Now, I'm not saying that being first isn't a good spot, but there's a reason why this match didn't go on last. And not really my final thing, just the next thing. Jonathan Gresham deleted his Twitter right after this match. Apparently, he seemed a little out of it. I think there was some tweets that said that he hadn't actually talked to Tony Khan. So even though he is under contract to Tony Khan, he is signed to the Ring of Honor brand. Who knows what the hell's going that actually means. The Briscoes are also signed to Ring of Honor. Like, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that entail? When are you actually going to get to work? But this was an interesting comment that spilled into a larger discussion. And we're going to have that discussion because this is more interesting. And it'll probably be the only time I actually talk about Jonathan Gresham, because I don't see him popping up anywhere anytime soon. He said, quote, "It bothers me that you can have white guy number one with no character be great. But then you got black guy saying, oh, he needs a character. But why? Why can't he just be a good wrestler?" Jonathan Gresham. Here's the issue. There are some people who are like that, and I'm not going to say that, some people aren't like that, but I can tell you with a tear in my eye, I have the same opinions for the Negroes, for the Japanese, for the Latinxes, for the LGBTQIA plus, for everybody. You have no character. You have no gimmick. You can't cut promos. You are boring. You suck. I don't care how good you can grapple, you can fish hook or counter hold. If I don't find you entertaining, you have no sense of showmanship, your match is boring. You are boring. Boring. Now, Jonathan Gresham actually had a character. The octopus was an interesting character. He came with an interesting look. He's wearing the suit with the octopus mask, and it had a reason behind it. You know, he was a guy who was a grappler, and it felt like he had 8 arms, you know, because he could grapple and do all this kind of stuff. I got it. I get it. When you put it together with the foundation, it worked. Why did Tony Khan go away from that is the question. He didn't come out in his octopus gear for this match. He just came out in a regular t-shirt. He came out looking like a guy who was just going to do a job on Superstars in front of the world. And that's exactly what happened. You know, and I get it. You know, they kind of wanted to play the race card. But I can't argue about what straw men think and what other people who are not me, what they think. I don't know who these people are that he's talking about. Is he talking about Tony Khan? I don't know. Is he talking about wrestlers in the business? I don't know. I don't purport to talk for anybody else other than myself, and I hold everybody to the same standard. Boring people have no characters. If you have no character, you are boring, and I have no interest in watching you. And I like Gresham. I don't think he's a charisma machine, but I think his character fit what he was doing. It was very Dean Malenko-ish to me. Where Malenko, was he the most charismatic guy in the world? No, but you need to have those mechanics too. You know, those dangerous grapplers who, if they got their hand on the charismatic babyface, they can really make them sell, you know, or they can really torture a heel with a submission hold. That's good stuff. You need that too. Not everybody has to be the same, but you can't be boring. You absolutely just cannot be boring. Now, the final thing here, I stumbled across this too, and I think this is pretty funny. This is from his wife, Miss Piggy herself, Jordan Grace. Why is it when people like Eddie Kingston, Adam Cole, Deonna Purrazzo, and others are body shamed online, everybody jumps to their defense? But when someone like John is ridiculed for something he has absolutely no control over, everybody piles on. Then they honestly laughed at this. They're talking about the short jokes, right? Jonathan Gresham can't help that he's 3'4". He can't help it. He can't help that he's so short. He can't do anything about that. Then she doubled down, right? She doubled down. She said, it's not funny when actual discrimination is happening because of this on 2 levels. I'm just asking for y'all to keep the same energy. This is that time where, you know, your mom embarrasses you in front of the class. You know, like this is that moment where your wife is trying to take up for you and she actually makes you look worse because she's taking up for you. Like, oh, hey, he can't do nothing about that. You need to leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Like, that's bad enough. You know, you got your wife. Look, everybody love a ride or die. You know, I don't mind a ride or die. That's a good thing. You know, your wife should, you know, take up for you from time to time. But her trying to shame people, like, he's being body shamed. So what? He looked like Leprechaun in the Hood. He's being body shamed. So what? He's short. It's like, come on. You have to perform beyond the, you know, expectations, and then people will still make the jokes, but they will have more respect for you. Rey Mysterio is short. You know, everybody knows Rey is short. A bunch of luchadors are very small. You know, there's a lot of small guys out there. Superstar Bill Dundee was short. There's a lot of short guys out there. They perform big, though. You know? Your wife standing up for you is hilarious. And then when she has this actual discrimination on 2 levels, It just made me think of intersectionality. Like, we're standing at the intersection of height privilege and black oppression. Like, he's having a tough time because he's black, but now he's having a tough time because he's short. So now we're getting the double axis of the short black man not getting an opportunity in our beloved sport. Like, bitch, shut up. What are you talking about? At some point, just stop tweeting. Just stop tweeting. Now that we can talk about this if you want to. I saw some lady try to pull out her college degree on this subject. I'm not going to go into that because we still got to do this review. But I figure I'm never going to talk about Jonathan Gresham outside of him popping up on Dynamite or something like that. So we might as well talk about it here. Jordynne Grace embarrassed her husband with this. No wonder he deleted his Twitter account. I would delete my Twitter account too. If my mommy wife is on Twitter trying to defend me for being short, I would delete my Twitter account too. I mean, especially all the embarrassing shit she already does. She has an OnlyFans account. Like, your wife has an OnlyFans account, which I prefer to make fun of him for. Like, yeah, you're right. He can't do anything about him being short. It's still funny, to crack jokes about it. But the bigger joke to me is that his wife has an OnlyFans account. And she does, like, fetish pictures and stuff. Like, that's weird. Like, come on. She's like a teacher, but she also does, like, fetish wrestling pictures. And then she also does, like, bodybuilding. And she's your mommy wife on Twitter. Like, Jordynne Grace is just a big ball of mess. Like, what the fuck? Why even be bothered, dog? And what was even funnier, the Negro had braces at one point. He was like 4'7" with braces. And I was just like, ugh. And I'm talking grown man with braces too. Everything about this is bad. I can't imagine Tony Khan saw him 4'7" with braces. And then, Vince, our cult leader. I saw Vince McMahon get called a cult leader, so I'm gonna call Vince a cult leader. Cult leader Vince, I can see him seeing Jonathan Gresham belly laughing about this and then making his own jokes about it. Tony Khan, I don't see him being like alpha male, this mattering that much to him. I don't see this being the reason Tony Khan took the belt off of him is because he's short. I don't think Tony Khan gives a fuck. Do you see the guys Tony Khan pushes? The Darby Allins and the Sammy Guevaras. Sammy Guevara looks like an iguana. He's like the gecko from the Geico commercials. No, he doesn't care about looks. He's not caring about body types. So, and he signed to Tony Khan. So no, this doesn't matter. Now, you may say people don't take Jonathan Gresham seriously, but that's because most of the time they don't really see him doing anything anywhere that matters. He's been under contract for Ring of Honor for at least 2 months now. And like a lot of these people on this roster, he hasn't been doing anything. He's just kind of been there, But it is what it is. I just thought it was fun. Sorry for the Jonathan Gresham dump. I know so many of y'all are like, I don't care about this fucking guy. Look, you're going to have to, I got my picadillos, okay? I got my things that I want to talk about. So we're going to talk about them. Especially since Ring of Honor going to run like once a quarter or something like that. So Daniel Garcia, talk about boring. He cut a promo. He says that no one ever watched a sport and wanted to have more rules. And I said, you know what? That's actually a good point. Then he says that he doesn't really want the Pure Championship, but he's going to take it. And he's going to take it to the big leagues and smash it to pieces on Dynamite with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Which, of course, guaranteed that he wasn't going to win. This takes us to match 3. Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. They had judges, Josh Woods, John Walter, and Ace Steele. The way that the Pure rules operate is that there's a 60-minute time limit. I think it was 30 minutes in Ring of Honor proper. And you get 3 rope breaks. And I think you get 1 closed fist. I forget what other rules they may have had. Most of it didn't really matter, though. Wheeler Yuta wins the match. It was painfully boring for me. This match was painfully boring. I don't like either one of these guys. There's zero showmanship at all. It's just wrestler guys wrestling, and they haven't really interacted that much. There's no heat here. I'm just kind of, look, I know it's the Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club. That's supposed to be the heat. But the point there is we only care about the top guys. Like, these are the guys that they throw through tables and, you know, they bust them open and leave them on the side of the road somewhere. These aren't the top guys in these cliques. You know, this is a match you put on Dynamite. You know? And look, I know Tony Khan's like, we're trying to do something new here with the Ring of Honor. It's like, this is your developmental match. You know, but you don't have the balls to actually develop any fucking thing. You just put these fucking guys in a match and say, go out there and eat up 18 minutes of everybody's time. And then they do. And some people who are more inclined to enjoy that kind of stuff, they're really excited about it. I'm sitting here like, God, will this shit please fucking end? Like, man, I simply don't care. And I knew I wasn't going to care coming into it. And they did nothing to make me care, which is their goddamn job. It is their job to make me care about Wheeler Yuta or Daniel Garcia. They failed to do both. So fuck this match. Period. Match 2. Dalton Castle and the Boys defeated Vincent and the Righteous to win the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Championships. I was surprised this match was even on the card. I don't think anybody cared about this. The Righteous were actually clean here. Usually they look like the Wyatt family, like an offshoot of the Wyatt family. But Dutch especially was wearing like a white suit. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I thought clearly Vincent was going to lose because he signed the Impact. At least I remember, if I remember correctly, he signed the Impact along with the rest of the Ring of Honor guys who left Ring of Honor, who that Tony Khan didn't want to bring in. So Dalton Castle, who is essentially, I was about to say something that was really out of line. I'm not going to do it. Dalton Castle is very good. His character is also very good. Dalton Castle was so much better before he injured his back. But the boys, Dalton Castle's boys, well, they're the champions now. So let's just put it like that. Okay. But of course they just did this to write off Vincent because, you know, I'm pretty sure they're going to get these belts on some old ass Ring of Honor guys eventually anyway. They're probably just going to wait for, maybe he's going to be Undisputed Era or something. It's when Roderick Strong jump over, it's going to be like Red Dragon and Roderick Strong or something like that going to win these belts because that's how Tony Khan rolls. All right. Next promo, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt, the most useless man in wrestling. They were all wearing white. And I mean, the Righteous literally just did this. You know, this is indie shit. You know, nobody protected anything. This is why I talked about how many chop exchanges and tables are being used. It's like nobody looked and said, we're already doing that. You shouldn't do it too. Like Vincent and the Righteous wearing white. Why did you need to do that? They didn't need to do that. Let Lethal do that. Why? For starters, Lethal is wrestling higher on the card. Second, they actually had a reason for it. Sanjay Dutt, most useless man in wrestling, says that white is for funerals in India. And since this is going to be the end of Samoa Joe's career, they decided to wear white. Okay, so they actually have a symbolic reason for wearing white. Why is Vincent wearing white? No reason at all. And I'm not talking about just wearing white. I'm talking like all white, crisp white. Like, and everybody in the group is wearing white. You know, it's like, come on, you know, smarten up. So Jay Lethal cut a promo, said that everybody in the arena can feel it. The changing of the guard is sinking down into their souls. Then said that Samoa Joe has two choices, death or dishonor. And the choice has already been made for him. I really like Jay Lethal. He's tremendous. Unfortunately, he lost to Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe, of course, was blown up before this match even ended. Ring of Honor 6 match. Ring of Honor television title. Samoa Joe defeats Jay Lethal. This was basically Jay Lethal carrying Samoa Joe to a match. That's essentially what it was. They got into a fight in the aisleway before the bell. Satnam Singh came from behind to help. Just as the match starts, he is ejected. Jay Lethal hit some big moves. I think he hit his lethal injection and only got a 2 count. They did, of course, the chop fest in the middle of the ring. And Samoa Joe wins with the coquina clutch. submission. Not solid match. You know, not terrible, not great, but solid. You know, Samoa Joe is obviously not the Samoa Joe of old, and he's coming across like an old horse that they're just dragging along. You know, like as Jay Lethal was doing like these topes through the ropes, and he was forearming Samoa Joe in the head. I just kept saying, I wonder which one of these is going to give him a concussion. And that's like the fucked up thing to think, but that's all I was thinking. I was just thinking like, okay, which one of these is about to knock Samoa Joe's head off and fuck him up? But at least, there was showmanship in this match. There was story going into this match. It's two guys who are very good. They didn't have to do a lot, and they did enough. They had a solid outing that bolstered the card. It was fun. I wish Lethal would get more out of this AEW run that he's having. You know, I get it. He's 40, you know, but Joe is over 40, and so is Claudio. You know, we should be doing a little bit more with Jay Lethal, especially since he can really cut promos. He can really talk. But I don't know. I guess they just have no interest in doing anything with Jay Lethal. I would think that if Samoa Joe is the kind of guy that you have to put on the show for 3 months at a time, that you would probably just take the belt off of him. You know, like if he's not going to show back up until December or something like that, we probably should took the belt off of him, you know. But I guess Samoa Joe is their special attraction. And if that's the case, he should be the world champion and not the TV champion. I mean, come on. Whatever. Match 4, Roosh versus Dragon Lee. My favorite match of the night. This match was excellent. Again, a match with no story, but I am a fan of both guys. Roosh and Dragon Lee are shoot brothers. They are really brothers. And basically that's what this match was about. You know, who's the best in the family or whatever. But there was no promos. It's not like either one of them could speak really good English anyway. But this match was phenomenal. They did some of the craziest spots ever. They did an overhead belly to belly onto the floor. Roosh did an overhead belly to belly onto the floor on his little brother. It was crazy. Dragon Lee did a tope suicida through the middle rope and somehow speared Roosh through the table. I don't know why this match needed to have a table spot, but they had one. Like they didn't need to have it, but they had one. Of course, they did a chop fest in the middle of the ring. This match was they just had everything. They just threw everything, balls to the wall. They went at it. This match was fun. You know, and maybe it's just my love of Lucha Libre, me liking both of these guys, but this was the match of the night for me. This match ruled. And if you're just interested in wrestling matches, watch this. I really wish that maybe in new WWE, there's room for both of these guys, especially Dragon Lee. He is very good. He's fucking awesome. You know, he's not going to be the athletic marvel that Phoenix is, but he's fucking good. And if I'm recruiting for WWE and Vince McMahon is not there to fuck with my creations and whatever I want to do, Dragon Lee is the guy I get on the phone. And I say, hey, look, we'll get you an interpreter. We'll get you whatever you need. We need to bring you on in. You know, he's your new Rey Mysterio, and he's bigger than Rey. And he's shredded. Roosh is very good, too. I would bring him in, too. You know, bring him in as a tag team. That would be great. I love these guys. This match ruled. Match 5. Ring of Honor Women's title. Mercedes Martinez defeats Serena Deeb. It's hard to care about people that Tony Khan doesn't even care about. And that's what this match is. There's zero... Like, I don't know when the last time I even saw Mercedes Martinez. Like, I know she's probably on Dynamite recently, because I remember saying this before. But she wasn't doing anything. Serena Deeb just kind of gets built up to lose. You know, they did a good job of making me believe Serena Deeb could win. But that's just the work of the women involved. That has nothing to do with the storyline going into it. This led to a very interesting tweet. So I need to read this because this is going to be fun. This was a fun one. K-Side Seat says, quote, "Dear male wrestling commentators," they just mean Ian Riccaboni. because this is kind of the thing that he does. You don't have to work so hard to remind us how good women's wrestling actually is. Nor do you need to remind us that it is not a beauty pageant. You're overcorrecting and you sound dumb. Thanks, management. What fat, blue-haired, black nail polish woman do you think tweeted that out? How bizarre. Like, look, I know that it's kind of a backhanded compliment. Like, this is not a beauty pageant. Like, are you saying that they're ugly? Like, I wouldn't go that far, I say, Serena Deeb has harsh features where she looks a little bit more mature than she really is, but I wouldn't say she was ugly. I wouldn't say Mercedes Martinez is ugly. I think she's a little bit more masculine than she needs to be, but I wouldn't say she's ugly. But this is what Ian Riccaboni does, because he is a very woke commentator. He kind of overcorrects. He likes talking about how, the importance is on, they're the best wrestlers regardless of gender, and that kind of horse shit. And yeah, he does go overboard. He was doing this very bad in the later days of the modern day Ring of Honor. He was really, he was over the top because he is a woke idiot. But this match was actually fairly solid, There was a German suplex from the middle rope by Mercedes Martinez. That was vicious. I was like, ugh, that looked like it sucked to take. Serena Deeb did a tornado DDT and then immediately sort of finessed that into a tequila sunrise. It was actually a very good submission spot. Yes, we probably should not be shitting on tornado DDTs, but it was still pretty good. The Mercedes Martinez finish, I think it's called the Brass City Sleeper or something like that, where it's basically a surfboard into a dragon sleeper. It was a good finish. Serena Deeb did a great job of selling it before tapping out. It seemed like she studied her Shawn Michaels, because it looked just like when Shawn tapped out to Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21 with the way her arm was moving, like the desperation there. She really studied, Shawn and some of those guys who, the desperation in tapping out. She did a great job. So this match was good. Really good match. I don't have a problem with it. It's just hard to care about people that Tony Khan doesn't care about. All right, match 7, the main event. FTR versus the Briscoes. 2 out of 3 falls for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. This match had a pretty slow start, but it also had Chop Fest in it. I think it had 2 Chop Fests in it. But this was a really good match. I think that the Briscoes are very good. They're real good. They were the vicious heels in this one. They brutalized FTR. I mean, the chops were so vicious. Dax was bleeding at the chest. They hit Cash in the head with the ring bell at one point. He was in a crimson mask, but we had a couple of drips of blood. The first pinfall was scored by the Briscoes with the Doomsday Device. They used the Doomsday Device a couple of times in this match. It's not their finish, but you shouldn't kick out of the Doomsday Device. So that was 1-0 Briscoes. Later in the match, the FTR scored the big rig to get a 1-1 draw. There was another big rig on a counter to a crossbody from Jay Briscoe, but there was no referee. At this point, all 4 men were in the match, and I didn't know who the legal man was, and I was like, is this a Young Bucks match? I thought FTR cared about the rules. I thought FTR was follow the rules. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was follow the rules. Anyway, there was a second rope back suplex through the table. So the guy, I think it's Cash onto Jay Briscoe, I think. So they're on the outside of the ring. And they climb up to the second turnbuckle. He back suplexes them off of that through a table outside the ring. And I was like, that's insane that you would even take that bump. Second, that's the second table that was broken on this show. Oh, the first time a table was broken on this show didn't need to happen. But this match was nutty. Nutty. Big finish came with a second rope power driver by Dax onto, I believe it was Jay Briscoe for the win. Good finish, believable finish. When you got guys who are like bloodthirsty and violent as the Briscoes, power driving them from the second rope, that'll do it. That's great. Hate what to see what the Young Bucks probably would have done. They probably would have kicked out at 1 1/4. But this was a solid match. I know what people are saying is the greatest match of all time. It was hard for me to get it to that level because the Briscoes couldn't really do anything. And what I mean by do anything, I mean like build the match. You know, it would have been nice if they'd have just done something simple. Okay, the Briscoes can't be on Dynamite. Can they post comments to YouTube at least? You know, can you do like a press conference where the Briscoes are yelling at FTR or something? Like, you can think outside the box in order to build this match up. And they didn't. They just did a lazy way where they just kind of just told you, like, there's nothing that told me in the build-up that Briscoes had any opportunity. Because if you're not, let's say you've never watched a Ring of Honor show before. Why are the Briscoes the main event and I've never seen them before? You know, now, of course, if you are watching AEW, you know who the Briscoes are. You kind of have to. It's within your bubble. But like I say, any show could be somebody's first. So in that respect, if you've never seen them before, you don't know what they're about. Even if you didn't watch the previous match, maybe you just picked up AEW within the last couple of weeks. You didn't see anything of the Briscoes, you know, so all you got was all the hype around FTR and how they're the best tag team in the world and yada, 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 how great they are, how great their matches are, how great everything is. It's like, okay, at what point did we start building up the fucking contenders? You know, the contenders don't get to go on TV and get any wins. They don't get to cut any promos. They don't get to do anything. It's FTR, who you're seeing be great on TV, versus the reputation of a team that you maybe have seen or may not have seen. It's like, that's no good. You know, thankfully I know who the Briscoes are. I was able to enjoy it. But, you know, just always thinking about the casual. You know, it's because you want the damn company to grow. You want the business to grow. Except certain people who don't want the business to grow. They want the business to stay insular. They want every band to be a garage band that only they know about. It's like, no, you know, I want everybody to be able to get involved with this at some point. I know not everything is for everybody, but fuck, you should try to reach a wider audience as you can. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why are you against that? Why are you against more money? It's kind of stupid to me. Anyway, FTR wins. Really good match. At the end of the match, the Blackpool Combat Club, being Claudio and Wheeler Yuta come out. They hold up their belts, and FTR held up their belts. And so they're like, okay, well, these are 4 of the Ring of Honor titles here. You know, there's 2 more floating out there that are not within, you know, the Blackpool Combat Club. They'll probably eventually get there. So that is interesting. I guess Claudio and Yuta are going to be like the next contenders, maybe. Why would you do that? I don't know why you would do that, but they plan on doing it, I guess. Well, they got pay-per-views to sell, so I guess maybe that's what they think. Beating their world champion in a tag team match on this pay-per-view would be worth something. I don't know about that. At the end of this show, they were announcing more stuff for AEW Dynamite because, you know, despite the fact that there's not going to be that much cross-promotion, there's tons of cross-promotion. And 2 matches caught my attention. One, Bryan Danielson apparently went to San Diego Comic-Con and said that he's ready to wrestle. He's going to be wrestling Daniel Garcia on Wednesday. Why? Oh, well, they were in a match. Didn't he beat this guy already? He beat this guy like in September or something like that, didn't he? Like, I'm not averse to rematches, but why is he wrestling Daniel Garcia? Why is this his comeback match? Again, this fucking guy just got hurt. And he spent months on the shelf. Why are you wasting bumps against Daniel Garcia? Fuck. Keep him on the couch until you got something good for him to do. You're wasting bumps. You're going to keep running the risk of him getting more concussions. This is stupid. Stop doing this. Oh, fuck. If you think that wasn't dumb, the next thing Jon Moxley versus Roosh for the AEW Interim World Championship. Roosh. What the fuck? Has Roosh won a match in AEW? This is no different than Brody King. This is dumb. What the? Look, they're just doing shit just to do it at this point, man. They're just doing shit just to do it. Look, I'm a Roosh fan. Everybody knows that. I've said it already on this video. I'm a fan of Roosh. I actually still am a fan of Moxley. I like the character. But this match with no build up. What the fuck? We're just gonna do, like, is this an open challenge title and nobody told me? Because that's what it seems like. It feels like an open challenge belt. Like, anybody can challenge for this title. Fuck rankings. Because it's like, rankings? What rankings? You don't need to have a ranking to be a number one contender for a world title. I mean, who came up with that silly idea? I mean, it's very bizarre. Yes, the media scrum is going on currently. I haven't seen anything worth a damn coming out of it. So if something important comes out of it, maybe we'll cover that. But for the most part, I just don't see anything interesting other than Claudio saying, "What's a brass ring?" It's like, well, I can tell you, you've got the brass ring. And that is that brass is worth little to nothing. And that's exactly what you got. You don't got a golden ring. You don't got a diamond ring. You got a brass wedding band. Because Tony Khan likes you very, very much. And that's about it. All right, but what did y'all think? Did y'all even watch this stupid ass show? Please don't make me feel like I was the only guy who watched this dumb ass show. Please. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Enjoy yourselves. I'll talk to you later.